Some souls carry a weight others cannot see, a quiet fire that burns in the shadows. You may have felt it yourself, a sense that your path is different, that life has carved a space for you that no one else can fill. This is not about privilege, it is about purpose. It is the reason God chose you over your siblings, over countless others, and it is a choice that demands responsibility to lead not through force, but through wisdom, through integrity, through mastery of yourself. The Shaolin masters understood this centuries ago. True mastery is not about fighting others. It begins with accepting your role fully, embracing the lessons that only your life can teach. Those who are chosen face subtle trials, challenges that shape strength quietly away from the eyes of the world. Each test, each struggle hones your attention, sharpens your spirit, and calls you toward clarity. In this video, I will guide you through the hidden reasons behind being chosen, uncovering truths rarely spoken. You will learn why your sensitivity, your discipline, and even your solitude are not accidents but marks of a higher path. We will explore the principles that turn innate gifts into purpose, the lessons that transform inner struggle into mastery, and the quiet courage that sets a chosen life apart. Stay with me until the end, because understanding this will change the way you see your path, your struggles, and your calling. Welcome to Shaolin Soulfire, where we explore the fire within and grow stronger together. Subscribe and join this journey. Your purpose is waiting. There is a quiet rhythm that only certain souls can hear, a pulse beneath the surface of the world that whispers truths most overlook. You may have felt it, the fleeting sense of knowing before words are spoken, the subtle shifts in energy that escape ordinary notice. These are the marks of those chosen, not by chance, but because their awareness is deeper, more attuned to the unseen currents of life. Being sensitive in this way is not always easy. The world moves fast, full of noise and distraction, and without guidance, this depth can feel like a burden. Emotions may surge like untrained rivers, thoughts collide without rest, and the energy around you may overwhelm rather than inspire. Yet, within this sensitivity lies a hidden power, one that can reveal the hidden patterns of life, the invisible threads connecting people, choices, and consequences. Mindfulness is the key. By pausing, observing, and grounding yourself in each moment, what once felt chaotic becomes clear. Breathing slowly, feeling the body, noting the mind, these practices transform raw sensitivity into insight. The chosen learn to perceive without judgment, to see the subtle shifts in intentions, in environments, in hearts. A glance, a tone, a gesture, these become messages, instructions from life itself. Shaolin wisdom teaches that true perception is a form of strength. It is not an escape from reality, but a deeper engagement with it. Awareness becomes a mirror reflecting both the world and yourself, and with each moment of quiet attention, clarity grows. The energy you sense, the truths you notice are not accidents. They are guides, pointing toward decisions, paths, and actions aligned with your highest purpose. The difference between confusion and mastery lies in this practice. Sensitivity, once disciplined, becomes vision. Energy, once overwhelming, becomes understanding. And the chosen walk with a calm certainty, seeing what others cannot, moving with purpose through the currents others cannot feel. The first trials of life arrive quietly, often unnoticed at the time, yet they leave marks that shape the very essence of a person. A childhood of struggle, moments of being misunderstood, paths blocked without reason. All of it is not random. These early hardships are the invisible teachers, guiding the soul towards strength, patience, and clarity. Each difficulty is a lesson in endurance, a call to cultivate the inner garden while the storms rage outside. In Shaolin philosophy, challenges are never enemies, they are the forge. A sword is not tempered in calm waters, it is shaped by fire, hammer, and pressure. Similarly, the mind and spirit are honed through trials. Discipline emerges not from comfort, but from facing limits and choosing to rise again. The young heart learns discernment, noticing the subtle difference between reaction and action, between fleeting desire and deliberate choice. Through hardship, the soul begins to understand rhythm and timing. Patience grows naturally when outcomes are uncertain, and courage forms quietly when fear is met with stillness rather than resistance. Ancient masters recognized this principle. Every obstacle contains a seed of mastery. Life presents it not to punish, but to awaken awareness, to reveal the gaps in understanding, and to compel the refinement of habits, thoughts, and character. Those who endure without losing themselves discover an inner authority that cannot be taught in classrooms or books. The lessons of early hardship become part of a personal code, a silent strength that informs every choice. Resilience is not merely surviving, it is learning to move with life's currents while keeping a steady center. Challenges transform from burdens into mirrors, reflecting where attention, patience, and discipline are required. In this way, the difficulties once feared become the foundation of mastery. The past that seemed unfair, the struggles that seemed endless, all serve a higher purpose: to train a spirit capable of moving with clarity, strength, and quiet confidence in a world that tests all who seek to rise. The mind is a battlefield that most never see. Thoughts surge like restless waves, emotions rise like storms, and actions follow without pause. For those chosen, this chaos cannot remain unchecked. The path demands something quieter, something steadier, a mastery over oneself before the world can be mastered. Inner order is not imposed, it is cultivated, patiently and deliberately, moment by moment. In the teachings of ancient masters, the body is only strong because the mind is disciplined. Control over thoughts is the first step. Noticing what arises without being carried away, understanding the impulses behind desire and fear, learning to let go of what distracts from purpose. Emotions too are trained, not suppressed. Joy, anger, and sorrow become teachers, guiding decisions rather than dictating them. Each choice is made with awareness, each movement measured with intention. Action follows thought, and emotion, like a river, follows its channel. The chosen ones learn to act with clarity rather than compulsion, to respond rather than react. Every small decision, every daily routine becomes practice. Waking, eating, speaking, moving. Nothing is trivial when the goal is mastery. The energy that might scatter is instead gathered, directed toward growth, service, and purpose. This inner order is what separates the chosen from the ordinary. Responsibility is not given lightly, it is entrusted to those who have proven they can govern themselves. Life tests patience, humility, and consistency, and those who emerge steady are prepared for challenges that others cannot face. The ability to navigate the inner world translates naturally into navigating the outer world with discernment and calm authority. To walk this path is to understand that mastery is quiet, invisible, yet absolute. It is the slow shaping of mind, heart, and habit until each step aligns with purpose. Those chosen carry this discipline as their foundation, a silent strength that allows them to meet the weight of responsibility with clarity, grace, and unwavering presence. Each person is born with a spark, a gift that hints at what they might become. But for those chosen, these gifts do not exist merely for comfort or acclaim. They carry a direction, a subtle alignment that points beyond the self. The talent is not random, it is tuned to a higher purpose, a quiet call to act in ways that ripple through life, shaping not only their own path, but the world around them. In ancient traditions, a skill untrained was like a blade left in the dirt. Only through practice, discipline, and attention does it become precise, strong, and purposeful. The chosen recognize that their abilities are tools, not trophies. Every morning, every action becomes an opportunity to refine these gifts, to cultivate them with patience, humility, and focus. In this way, talent is transformed into responsibility and potential becomes service. There is a subtle difference between indulging in what one can do and answering what one is meant to do. Many pursue skill for recognition, comfort, or fleeting satisfaction. The chosen walk a quieter path. They ask, how can this gift serve the greater whole? This awareness shapes decisions, shapes relationships, and shapes the life itself. Even ordinary tasks become practice, even setbacks become instruction. Ancient masters often spoke of alignment, how a single life, properly directed, can harmonize with the flow of the universe. A chosen gift is like a note in a larger melody, subtle yet essential. Recognizing it requires stillness, reflection, and honesty, while cultivating it demands patience, consistency, and courage. To honor a gift is not vanity, it is duty. It is the daily choice to shape talent into wisdom, to temper skill with integrity, and to carry the potential within toward purpose. In this sacred process, the chosen do not merely live. They awaken, becoming instruments of clarity, insight, and service that extend far beyond the self. There comes a quiet distance in the hearts of those chosen, a gentle turning away from the noise that ensnares others, the chatter of gossip, the pull of fleeting pleasures, the endless chase for recognition. These things often feel hollow, like echoes from another world. The chosen notice it first in subtle ways, a restlessness in crowds, a disinterest in fleeting trends, a clarity that rises when the trivial fades. This is not indifference born of pride. It is a necessary separation, a shield for the mind and spirit. In ancient teachings, detachment was never about withdrawal or coldness. Shaolin masters practiced it as a discipline, a way to preserve energy and attention for what truly matters. By stepping lightly away from distractions, the chosen conserve their focus, allowing thought, intention, and action to remain sharp and aligned. The world may offer comfort in noise and indulgence, but clarity requires the courage to move through life with fewer attachments, to honor what is lasting over what is fleeting. Detachment also cultivates perspective. When the mind is unclouded by trivial desires or reactive emotions, insight flows more freely. Decisions arise from understanding rather than impulse. Actions arise from purpose rather than expectation. The chosen learn to value depth over spectacle, substance over show. Even relationships, achievements, and daily routines are approached with a sense of intention rather than habit or social compulsion. This subtle separation is a form of inner mastery. It is discipline in its quietest expression, a restraint that allows energy to flow toward growth, service, and understanding. The world moves in many directions, but the chosen move with a steady center, guided by clarity and a sense of what is truly essential. In this space, distractions lose their power, and the path of purpose becomes visible, unobstructed by the fleeting temptations that blind so many. There is a stillness that carries power, a quiet that hums beneath the surface of life, unseen but deeply felt. Shaolin masters understood this long before the world celebrated noise and action. True strength does not announce itself with loud gestures or outward recognition. It grows in silence, in the moments when no one is watching, when the mind sits with itself and listens without judgment. The chosen often find comfort in solitude because the lessons they must learn are not taught by others. The world can offer advice, approval, or pressure, but these cannot replace the insight that arises from reflection. Walking alone allows space to notice subtle truths, to hear the whispers of intuition, to refine character through thought and stillness. In this quiet, the mind sharpens, the heart steadies, and the spirit gains clarity that crowds cannot provide. Solitude is not loneliness, it is a crucible. Each moment of self-reflection teaches patience, discernment, and control. The chosen learn to observe themselves as a master would observe a student, without rush, without blame, without distraction. Weaknesses are seen and corrected, strengths are recognized and honed, and the rhythm of life begins to feel less chaotic and more deliberate. Ancient wisdom emphasizes that dependence on external validation is a subtle trap. Praise, criticism, and comparison can cloud judgment and scatter energy. The chosen rise above this because their guidance comes from within. Every decision, every movement is measured against the standards of the self, aligned with purpose rather than applause. In walking alone, a unique kind of courage emerges. The courage to face one's own mind, to act without expectation, to trust in unseen forces and inner knowledge. From this silent discipline, strength grows, not the kind that dominates others, but the kind that moves through the world with clarity, resilience, and unwavering presence. Power is often mistaken for influence, yet they are not the same. Power pushes, demands, or controls. Influence moves quietly, like water shaping stone over time. Being chosen is never about asserting dominance, it is about cultivating presence and mastery that naturally guides, inspires, and uplifts those around you. True authority is invisible. It is the ripple of calm, disciplined action that touches others without force. Ancient teachings remind us that mastery begins within, but its purpose reaches outward. The discipline of mind, the steadiness of emotion, the clarity of intention. All these are not private treasures. They are tools forged to serve a greater purpose. The chosen understand this. Each act of patience, each decision made with integrity, each quiet display of wisdom becomes a lesson for others, a subtle guide through the chaos of life. Influence arises from consistency and alignment. People feel it in the way a chosen one carries themselves, in the calm in their presence, in the clarity behind their words. It is not taught or demanded, it is reflected through example. Shaolin philosophy emphasizes this principle. The master does not seek to dominate the student, but to awaken the strength already within them. The chosen walk the same path with the world, illuminating what is hidden, demonstrating what is possible, and showing that mastery is not about superiority but about service. Even small actions carry weight. A measured response in conflict, a quiet refusal to compromise integrity, a gentle correction of error, these are the ways influence manifests. Each moment becomes a chance to reflect divine purpose, to turn personal discipline into guidance for others. In this way, the chosen live as instruments of subtle power, a presence that shapes hearts, minds, and outcomes, not by force but by the resonance of mastery and the enduring echo of purpose. There is a quiet discernment that some carry, a sense that reaches beyond words and appearances. Chosen ones often feel it from a young age, a subtle recognition of truth and falsehood, of intention and pretense, of actions that align with higher principles and those that stray. It is not a skill learned in schools or taught in books. It is an innate compass, born with the soul, guiding decisions, relationships, and paths through life. Yet even this natural sensitivity requires cultivation. The mind can be clouded, the heart swayed, and perception dulled without discipline. Meditation becomes a tool to refine awareness, to sit in stillness and observe the flow of thought without being swept away. Mindfulness teaches presence, attention to subtle cues, the patterns of behavior, and the energy behind words. Reflection allows insight to settle, to distinguish fleeting impressions from truths that endure. Each practice sharpens the moral compass, ensuring it points steadily even when the world moves unpredictably. Ancient masters understood this principle well. In Shaolin tradition, the integrity of a warrior was measured not only in action but in perception, the ability to see what lies beneath the surface, to recognize deceit, to act in harmony with universal principles. The chosen walk with this awareness naturally, yet they refine it through patience and discipline. Their judgments are not reactive, they emerge from clarity, quiet observation, and the alignment of mind, body, and spirit. This attunement allows the chosen to navigate life with a subtle authority. They sense dishonesty without confrontation, recognize alignment without instruction, and discern paths that honor higher truth. Each choice, guided by this inner compass, becomes a step toward mastery, not only of self but of the unseen currents that shape the world. Through consistent practice, this innate gift transforms into a disciplined wisdom, a quiet power that illuminates truth in every encounter. Life moves in rhythms often unseen, a sequence of events unfolding like the slow turning of seasons. Those who are chosen feel this quietly, a sense that nothing is truly lost and nothing arrives before its time. Every opportunity, every challenge, every encounter carries a rhythm of its own, and the wise learn to move in harmony with it rather than against it. Patience is the vessel through which this understanding flows. It is not idle waiting, but a disciplined stillness, a readiness cultivated through repeated practice and conscious presence. Shaolin masters exemplified this principle in every movement, in every strike and stance. They understood that mastery is never rushed. Technique, strength, and insight are shaped over years, often decades, with consistent attention and measured effort. Similarly, the chosen learn to act decisively, yet only when the moment is fully ripe. Rushing leads to error, to misalignment with the natural flow of life. Hesitation born of fear also creates imbalance. Patience, however, balances courage with wisdom. It allows one to observe circumstances, to sense energies and intentions, to recognize when to strike and when to hold. Every decision becomes intentional, every action aligned with timing that the untrained mind might overlook. This discipline of timing nurtures clarity and self-mastery. The chosen develop a rhythm within themselves, a quiet pulse that mirrors the larger currents of life. They learn that impatience scatters focus, while patience gathers insight, sharpening judgment and fortifying resolve. With this, they move through the world not as reactive participants, but as mindful orchestrators of their own path, flowing with the moment while remaining rooted in purpose. Through patience, action becomes precise, influence becomes profound, and life unfolds not as a series of chaotic events, but as a deliberate journey of mastery and alignment with the deeper order of existence. True mastery is not measured by skill alone, nor by knowledge alone. It is measured by the harmony of mind, body, and spirit, the seamless alignment of thought, action, and intention. The chosen ones carry this potential from birth, but potential alone is not enough. It must be shaped, refined, and disciplined until it manifests as purposeful living. Daily practices become the foundation for this transformation. Meditation trains the mind to settle, to observe thoughts without being ruled by them. It allows insight to emerge naturally, revealing patterns, intentions, and truths that are often hidden beneath the noise of ordinary life. Each moment of stillness deepens awareness, cultivating a clarity that guides action rather than reaction. Disciplined routines shape the body and habits, anchoring the mind in structure and consistency. The small, repeated acts of focus, rising early, moving with intention, attending to responsibilities, build resilience and refine character. Ancient masters understood that mastery is accumulated in the ordinary, in the careful repetition of correct practice, rather than in dramatic feats alone. Conscious living ties thought and action together. Every choice becomes deliberate, every word, gesture, and decision carries awareness. The chosen learn to move through life with a quiet precision, where intentions are clear and actions are faithful to them. The energy that might otherwise scatter is gathered and directed toward purpose, transforming latent potential into tangible results. This integration is the ultimate mark of the chosen. It is not about perfection, but about alignment, thought guiding action, action expressing intention, and intention rooted in clarity and service. When this harmony is cultivated daily, life itself becomes a practice of mastery. The chosen step into their purpose fully, moving through the world with presence, integrity, and the quiet power of a life aligned with higher principles. Being chosen is not a gift handed lightly. It is a call to readiness. It asks for awareness, discipline, and the quiet courage to see beyond the ordinary. Each challenge, each moment of solitude, each act of reflection is part of the journey, shaping the mind, heart, and spirit to walk a path of purpose. You do not need to rush or force this process. Start small. Cultivate mindfulness in your daily moments. Refine your habits with patience and use your talents to serve rather than to seek attention. These simple acts transform potential into clarity and clarity into action aligned with your higher purpose. Remember, being chosen is not about standing above others. It is about walking within yourself with integrity, strength, and wisdom. It is in this calm presence that true influence arises, and the lessons of life are absorbed deeply, shaping not just your path, but the way you touch the lives around you. Carry this understanding gently and let it guide your choices, your discipline, and your moments of reflection. In doing so, you honor the path that has been entrusted to you and move steadily toward mastery over self and circumstance. If this message resonates, join our journey at Shaolin Soulfire, subscribe, stay present, and continue to cultivate the quiet strength and wisdom within you. Each step you take brings you closer to the life you are chosen to live.